Mm. Mm. Nah. Nah, 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 nah.
Na 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 na. Na
Na, na,
na
na, na,
na na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye.
Hello!
Hello. Captain Underpants. That's the movie we just saw.
Tra-la-la!
So, since you are more familiar with Captain Underpants,
Yes.
as in you have actually read some of the
Yes.
books, and I have read 0 of them,
Yes.
I figured that you would start this review.
Yes.
Yes. So, tell us your thoughts on Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, I think was the
name of it or something like that.
Yeah, Captain Underpants, whatever.
Which,
go.
I mean, I read Captain Underpants back when I was the correct age to read Captain Underpants. So, it's probably been 10, 12 something years.
X amount of years.
A great number of years since I've ever touched a Captain Underpants book or read them.
Yeah.
But going off of that name, I think it's actually a play on the name of the original book.
Ah.
Like, it's something along the lines of, like, the first fantastical adventure or something. Or
I'm pretty sure they use the word epic. Epic
first
used to be, like, a word that people used a lot.
yeah, it's like the first epic adventure or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is why they did a very similar name for this movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be fine if they wanted to make another one of these. I guess that's not talking about the movie, though. I enjoyed the movie. If you have ever read any of the Captain Underpants books, not movies, Captain Underpants books, you know what this movie is. It is Captain Underpants. It's Captain Underpants. It's the two kids. They act silly. They hypnotize their teacher. He turns into Captain Underpants. Hijinks ensue. They fight crazy, cartoony villains that are all very silly and often with toilet humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot more you can say about the context of what Captain Underpants is. And I feel like this movie perfectly encapsulated that. It delivered on every single one of those points very well, and like I think the animation that they chose, like the animation style, was very cartoony and fit very well with the art style, which they pulled directly from the books, which is good.
Yeah, the art direction was great.
Yeah, it's like the art direction went very well with the animation. It's just very cartoony and like it was great. They weren't just constantly throwing jokes at you non-stop. It was not a jangly keys movie. It was a movie that had jokes and it actually built them up. I mean, it was definitely lots of jokes, but like it tried to flesh out the jokes a bit more than punchline, going on. Anyways, in your face, type of thing. Because it understands that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in an actual good movie.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. Like, a lot.
Yeah?
To be perfectly honest, I think this might actually be my favorite movie of the year so far.
Really?
Yeah, I think this movie has, for a movie about toilet humor that is completely obvious where it's going the whole time. There's next to no spoilers for this movie at all.
I mean, yeah, if you're over the age of 8, you know exactly where this movie's going.
If you read the original book, you know where this is going.
Yeah.
They add like 1 or 2 more characters that kind of elaborate on it a bit more, but other than that, it's exactly what it is. But yeah, I genuinely think this movie is better than Smurfs and better than Lego Batman.
Oh, you liked it more than Lego Batman too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because the reason I say that is this movie can have more general appeal than Lego Batman can.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because Lego Batman, you need to either, one, really like Batman, or two, really like Legos, or preferably both, to really enjoy Lego Batman. This, you can be most anyone that's okay with people using toilet humor in the sense of, yes, this is toilet humor, and we're going to use it to the full extent of toilet humor, without actually doing any vomit or poo jokes or anything like that.
There's no, like, gross out humor.
It's just underwear.
Yeah.
It's underwear jokes.
Like it's the most juvenile of toilet humor.
The most juvenile and innocent toilet humor.
Yeah.
As in the bad guy is literally a giant toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my general thoughts on it. Now, I want to hear your thoughts, because you've been very hush-hush about what your thoughts about this movie are.
Right, because I didn't want to taint your opinion of it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was okay. It's okay. And like, I've mostly been quiet because really I've been just trying to, like, collect my thoughts on this. Because here's the thing. I think everything you said was completely accurate about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
However, for me, it just kind of all equals okay.
Reasonable.
Like, I didn't find this movie particularly that funny. And here's the thing, looking back on a lot of the jokes, now that we've left the theater and stuff, I find a lot more of the jokes funnier than I found them while we were actually watching the movie.
It's interesting.
Because...
Do you think, like, the timing on some of them was off or something like that?
Yeah, and comedy is fairly subjective, but I feel like a lot of the surrealist humor in this movie, like Harold constantly putting, like, dolphins in the narrative and stuff like that, like, that's funny, but I don't think I ever actually laughed at any of those jokes while I was in the theater, even though I think that's probably one of my favorite jokes.
It's probably one of the best. Yeah, it's like, it's really funny that he's obsessed with dolphins for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But how they integrate it doesn't actually work that well in the actual movie.
The scene where the kids, like, bust in through the school doors and they're like, they've got the jukebox and they're like, not jukebox, boombox, and they're like dancing. I'm like, that's a really creative, fun scene. And yet,
it fell flat for me as well.
At the time that I was watching the movie, there was just so many jokes and the pace was just so fast that the surrealist humor, which I think was probably my favorite part of the humor, because, I mean, even though this movie revels in its toilet humor, it's still just toilet humor. Like,
yeah.
Toilet humor is just not that funny to me, and...
Because you're not 5.
Yeah, because I'm not 5.
And neither am I.
Yeah, but it's just like... I don't know, I wanted the movie to slow down a bit more. And yet at the same time, I also know that the movie didn't want to slow down. Like, it's not necessarily a pacing problem, it's a problem with my taste.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing about this is that, another thought I had while we were coming home is that this is a really, like, shock and surprise, this is a really shallow concept for...
Say it ain't so!
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm just going to sound like an absolute killjoy here, but...
I enjoy it.
I know, but it's just like, it's such a shallow concept that, like, even padding this out... And, like, the movie doesn't feel like it was padded at all.
No, they did it very well.
It felt very natural, and, like, it felt like a good... Like, the movie was fine, but it was only that. It was just fine. And there's just a shallow concept there that, like, you can't do that much with. And they had fun with it. Like, Like, they had a lot of fun with it. They threw a lot of jokes in. You know, people who are familiar with the books and younger kids are really gonna love this movie. But, like, there's just nothing here for me, personally.
Oh, completely reasonable. Like, going off of what you're saying, I think part of the reason I enjoyed this movie so much, partially because, yes, I had read the books.
Yeah.
So I knew the extent of what the books could do. And I felt that they did as much as they possibly could with the source material.
Right. Like, as far as an adaptation goes, this is, like, spot on, right?
This is, like, perfect. They added characters, but I don't think that's a bad thing. If anything, it just helped the movie overall. And it's like, yeah, there's very, very little in the source material. They just elaborated upon it, but to the correct amount and in the correct way. Because if they push this movie a little bit more, it would be bad. Like, I genuinely, I don't think there's any way they could have made this into a stunning film.
Right, exactly. Like I said, like, it's a shallow concept that you can't do that much with, but I feel like they did everything they could with it. So on that side of things, like, I'm amazed that it's as good as it is. But on the other hand, it's also just Captain Underpants. Like, I hate to be harsh on this film because obviously this movie is not trying to be that, like, it's not trying to tell a deep story. Like, it just wants to have a fun time.
I'm amused at how apologetic you are about this one.
Because it's like, this movie doesn't deserve me to hate on it, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, you know, we fight so hard for these movies, for animated films, to get taken more seriously. And that's like, I don't know, this is why I've needed to collect my thoughts.
Because you're conflicted?
Yeah, I'm conflicted because, like, on one hand, this is, like, one of the best examples of a kid's film just for the sake of being a kid's film that I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
But on the other hand, like,
you want kids' films to be better than this.
Yeah, I want kids' films to be better than this, you know? Like, there's so many other kids' books out there that, like, that they could have adapted that have much deeper meanings. It's not a shallow pool. It's a very deep pool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, children's media can be challenging and stuff, and I'm amazed to see such a good adaptation for this series, and I think that's awesome. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, well, we spent $20 million to make a Captain Underpants movie that looks great and, like, it does it as perfectly as it can, but still, it's just a Captain Underpants movie.
I honestly don't know if other people are going to enjoy this movie as much as I did. I know it's like, I greatly enjoyed this movie, but I know that that's probably not how most people are going to feel about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I genuinely think it's really funny and great, but I also know this is not top tier movie quality.
Well, but see, and there's the thing too, is that, like, structurally and everything, like, I see no flaws in this movie.
Yeah, I think they,
like I said, like, I think
they pulled the arcs off perfectly, and, like, after the climax, there was the perfect amount of, like, settle down. As compared to, like, let's just compare this to the other Dreamworks film that came out this year.
Boss Baby.
Boss Baby is a hot pile of garbage next to this.
Yeah.
In every way. Like, they have the climax, and then the movie still goes on for another 10 minutes for no reason.
The thing is, though, I still think I would ironically watch Boss Baby again over watching this again.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not because I think Captain Underpants is bad, it's just, yet again, it just doesn't offer anything for me, and And, like, a
You'd
year...
rather watch the soul-sucking nothingness of Boss Baby?
Yeah.
That... Oh.
Because, like, a year or two from now, I think I'm probably going to have a hard time remembering this movie even happened. Well, and here's another thing I was thinking about earlier today, before we went to go see it, is this does not feel like a DreamWorks movie.
No, it actually feels like a Sony or Blue...
Yeah, and
like
that
a Sony.
Yeah.
It feels like a Sony. It feels like Charlie Brown.
Which is what I was going to say. It's like, and that might be just because Sony just did Charlie Brown.
These two films are very similar, actually.
Yeah. But...
the use of 3D models to, like, replicate a 2D style.
Yeah. Which is awesome. I love seeing that. Like, that's such... it's really cool visually. But no, what I was gonna say was that... yeah, it doesn't feel like a DreamWorks movie, and... It's so weird, because DreamWorks...
has a style.
DreamWorks has a formula.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, this doesn't... Other than the fact that, like, the kids are kind of assholes, and there's, like, just assholes present, and like, the story is kind of edgy if you're 10. 5. Like, this does not scream DreamWorks.
No, it doesn't.
Any more than any of the other studios, which is weird because DreamWorks has such a identity.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's partially because DreamWorks recently got bought out.
I don't know, because they've been planning this movie for a long time.
Okay.
As book adaptations go, because, you know, you gotta buy the rights, and then...
That's true.
Yeah. So, in a, like, okay, kind of, because I don't think we have too much more to say about this. This is a pretty straightforward review, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few other, like, off to the side things, I feel like, just mentioning.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe, like, a few jokes and, like, concepts that were thrown around and stuff.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. I actually really enjoyed what they did with the principal's character.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you said he's changed up a bit from the books. They made him more sympathetic.
Oh, yeah. If I remember correctly, again, this has been years since I read the books. In the books, Principal is just an evil asshole. You never get to learn anything more about him. Just the fact that he turns into Captain Underpants is about the kids trying to wrangle Captain Underpants. You don't learn more about the principal or what he's going through. But in this movie, it's like, no, you actually go to his house, and it is a very lonely, sad, pretty depressing house.
Yeah, that was another funny sequence.
That was a really funny sequence. Like, the kids, like, go into the house and like, we should probably not snoop around here. And they both get this, like, evil, mischievous grin, and they just, like, start snooping around the entire house, and they just keep going through, and like, huh.
This is sad.
And, like, they get to the end, and they're like, huh, this is a very, unfulfilling, snooping adventure.
Yeah, they open the fridge, and all that's in there is a bottle of ketchup.
And there's only a single fork, and the bathroom has a towel that says his, and another one that says
also
still his, or something.
Well, and like the one that I would like was them
light.
turning on the light, and it's like one of those hanging lights where it's got like 3 light bulbs, but only one light bulb works.
And it's directly above the only chair at this lonely table.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this is just a depressing house, and everything's like a deep, saturated, depressing blue.
Yeah, like that was some good visual storytelling.
Oh yeah,
there.
It was like, oh, I liked what they did with that, and then, like, kind of played off the fact that it was like he's kind of trying to figure out how to talk to the lunch lady, and they're like trying to like each other, but they're both terrible at it. But I also enjoy the fact that they didn't push it too much.
Right.
It's like, it's not super ham-fisted in your face.
Yeah.
It only comes up a couple of times, and it's just the correct level of like nothing, or like harmlessness,
right,
to it. I think it well done there. I'm all burpy.
Oh, burp. Yeah, so movies we've seen so far, obviously I'm gonna say that I still like Lego Batman and the Smurfs more than this, but like, yet again, on a technical level, I think it is, like what you said, probably the best of those, like, but the best of the films we've seen so far. It's just...
Yeah, it's not for you, I understand. Yeah, so for me, it's like, I currently think that Captain Underpants is the best one right now. Again, these are subject to change, and maybe a couple of weeks from now, I'll think back and I'm like, actually, no, I don't think that was as good as I thought it was. But, I mean, currently, I think, yeah, no, that was really good. And then, like, Smurfs and Lego Batman are below that, and then we start getting into the
undesirables.
Yeah, the undesirable pile with, like, Boss Baby, and what all did we even see this year?
Was it only Boss Baby?
I mean, Beauty and the Beast.
I don't want to even talk about that one anymore.
Okay.
Like, that doesn't deserve to be mentioned.
Okay.
It needs to fade into obscurity as quickly as possible.
We could do that.
Yeah.
What movie?
Exactly. So, do we want to talk about trailers? We missed some of the trailers, because we came in a few minutes late.
Trailers.
We saw another trailer for Despicable Me 3. It was a different trailer. They've made another one.
It looked like it was the whole movie.
Yeah, and then we saw another trailer that was for something new, and when they first started playing it, I was like, is this Rio 3? Because, like, Blue Sky's name came up, and they were showing, like, these bright, colorful landscapes of some town, and I've never seen a Rio film, so I don't know, but there were blue birds flying, and I was like, oh, Rio.
I didn't even notice the bluebirds, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, they were like a family of...
I had already forgotten about those.
Parrotish, like, birds flying around. I was like, oh, okay, Rio?
But no, it's Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
So, I'm going to recommend to everybody go out and find the Disney short Ferdinand, based off of the Spanish book Ferdinand, which is the story of a bull who's supposed to be taken to, like, the fighting ring to fight a matador and stuff, except he wants to sit around and just smell flowers.
Under his tree.
Under his tree. That's the whole book.
Yeah. He doesn't fight a matador, and then he goes home. Spoilers, he goes home and he sits under his tree and smells flowers.
So, Disney covered it perfectly. Doesn't need to do anything more with it.
Yeah, it's like it's an under 10-minute short, and they are making this book into a movie, so it's going to be like an hour and a half at least.
Filler.
Of filler.
The trailer was
all filler.
There was nothing in the trailer that was the book.
Other than, like...
Oh, there was like
a
sweeping shot of him in, like, the Colosseum once.
Yeah, that, and they had, like, another shot where it's like, oh, look, there's his tree.
Yeah.
From the book.
But we're not doing that. We're going to have this giant bull, and we're going to have a 5-minute scene with him in the china shop.
All these wacky hijinks, because we've got to fill all this time to make this movie. And I said this to you on the way home, but I was like, this is going to be like the Lorax again, where it's like, there's already been a perfect animation adaptation made for this book.
Significantly shorter than a feature length.
Like, it's the perfect length for what it needs to be to get its message directly across, and now they're going to make it a movie.
And it's going to be bad.
And it's going to be bad. Hooray.
Yay. Also,
and then,
you'll never see him coming. The voice actor for Ferdinand, it's John Cena. Yeah, something like that. Which doesn't even have any need.
Although, thinking back on the Disney short, wouldn't it be amazing if Ferdinand still had the voice that they give him in the Disney short, where he's like,
I want to smell the flowers.
No, Mama. I just want to sit and smell the flowers.
Just, I mean...
This is ear-grating voice. The John Cena voice, in retrospect, might actually be a good idea.
But it's very generic, which, I mean, is why they chose it. But
Well, no, they chose it because he's a wrestler.
Cena. Yeah.
And he's John Cena.
He's a wrestler, John Cena, so of course it's going to make sense for a large, burly bull to be played by a wrestler.
Yeah.
I guess.
Suppose. Whatever.
I don't know. I think there could have been better choices.
Yeah. I'm sure as we hear more about Ferdinand, we'll have more to say about it, but as of right now, it
looked not great.
Yeah. Going back to the Despicable Me 3 trailer, like, holy shit, Illumination, stop, please.
Just stop everything. Like, stop. Just no.
Just stop. But like, I already knew what your movie was going to be about. You didn't need to make another trailer a few weeks before your movie comes out that just tells you the entire movie.
Because that's what it did. It told us the entire movie.
Yep. Hooray!
It's like, there was even a clip in there which I can only assume was the final boss of the movie.
Oh yeah, there was definitely a couple of scenes in there. I'm like,
where
that's the end of the movie, isn't it?
It's like, oh,
God damn it.
That one guy is the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks, trite. Na Captain Underpants, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Back to Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I guess two different and yet similar opinions on Captain Underpants, so I guess if you're more like Sean and you've read the books and this sounds like a fun time to you, go see it. If you're more like me and you're just like, wow, I wish animated movies would try harder, then don't go see it.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, yeah, yeah.